I'm your host, Richard Mast, and
I'm Liam Conley.
And we're having our final movie for our horror collection for October.
Sort of like a horror.
It's our way to cap it off. It's been a great October, I think. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But it's Halloween weekend, so this week we are talking about Halloween. An all-time classic.
I was going to say this movie, but honestly...
You didn't like it that much.
I don't know.
You were falling asleep.
Was I?
You were starting to. You said you had to stand.
I did have to stand.
You did have to stand.
I mean...
We watched it, to be fair. We watched it. This is the first time we actually watched our movie together.
Yeah.
We watched it at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It was 9. It's only an hour and a half. A very brisk hour and a half.
Which, thank God, because I don't know if I could take another 30 minutes of that movie.
It is so slow. I don't remember it being that slow.
I think the thing about it is that it's slow and the dialogue is so quiet.
It is. We had to turn the TV up really loud.
Like 30 normally is like a standard living room TV's like 60 on ours.
Yeah.
So we had to turn it up to 50.
We turned it up to 50. Normally when I'm watching something, I'm at like a 20, 25 maybe.
Right.
And we had to sit at 50 because it was just, you could not hear the dialogue. I felt like an old man trying to listen to them talk.
Me too.
It was impossible to hear them.
Yeah.
I think the music at times overpowers what they're trying to say.
100%.
Which, I mean, towards the end, they're not really saying much. They're screaming more than anything else.
Right.
But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, I'll say this now, this is the lowest budget film we have covered so far. This is also probably our biggest difference between box office and budget.
Okay.
So the budget was $325,000.
No wonder why we couldn't hear anything.
Thousand, Liam, not millions. Every other movie we've talked about so far has been millions. This is the first one we talked about that is thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So it was $325,000.
How much did it make?
It made $70 million. $70 million, which I don't know if that's the highest we've talked about. Saw only made 13.
No, that's definitely the highest.
Saw made 103, so it's not the highest.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. It's second then.
It's second highest.
Whew.
And I mean, it is one of, if not the most influential horror movie probably of all time.
It has some of the most iconic music, too.
I mean, the music, even if you've never seen the movie, like you've never seen the movie, you know the music.
Yeah.
You knew it before it even started.
Everybody does.
It's
one of those things to where I feel like everybody almost just learns it one day, just randomly.
Exactly. I mean, John Carpenter, who did the music, he directed, he wrote this. He is a legend in the horror space in general, in the film space, but especially in the horror space. This was his first big budget movie, or big budget. This was his first big movie, actual theatrical release and everything.
Yeah.
And he really, I mean, he took off after this. He did one of my personal favorites, The Thing. He is one of the brightest, I think, when it comes to making these horror movies, because his ideas are just so vast and creative. Because while he is taking from other properties, this movie sort of spawned the sub-genre of slasher films.
Yeah.
There was some before. So Psycho was a big one.
Okay.
And Black Christmas was another big one. But this really is what made slasher films take off.
Okay.
And the fact that he looked at films like Black Christmas and was able to make it his own, or he looked at The Thing later and he made it his own. He's really good at taking something and creating something incredibly vibrant and new out of this. And while this film is, I will say, probably boring, it is sort of boring for a good chunk of it. There is still a lot of great stuff in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
One of my particular favorites is the scene where they kill off Bob, who is, what's her name, Linda's boyfriend. When they kill off Bob, Michael pops out of this closet and lifts him up with one hand and stabs him with another, and then when he lets go of his hand, Bob is just staying in place because of the knife. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it is still, I think, probably one of the most iconic shots in that movie. It is just this really great wide shot of Michael staring and admiring his work.
Yeah.
For as messed up as that sounds.
No, because he's a demented person.
Yeah.
We can talk about Michael for however long. I know he's the main villain.
Well, Michael's great. I mean, I think the guy who plays him, it's Nick Castle, I want to say. I have it in somewhere. Oof. He's really threatening. He does a lot with very little because he's not talking. Yeah. It's all body movements. And a lot of the time he's just standing. Yeah. He's barely walking.
And when he is walking, it's almost like a direct, forward, I know my purpose, where I'm going type deal.
I think the things that add are the head tilt when he hangs up Bob. Or when Laurie who was our main character for this, she stabs him with a hanger, and he's on the ground, and then we see him just like full ab workout, crunches up without any like lifting. He just crunches up, and it looks great. We just see him in the background do it. Yeah. He is menacing. I don't know how much he got paid for this with the budget that small.
I was gonna say
the Jamie Lee Curtis was paid $8,000 for her work.
Okay.
The film only filmed. It was a 20-day shoot.
Wow.
Which is really short.
Yeah.
Most time nowadays is like a couple months like 2 months shoot. Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis was paid $8,000, and she's in basically the whole movie. There's not. I couldn't imagine a day where she wasn't on set.
Yeah.
And then you look at the man who played Dr. Loomis. I don't remember the actor's name, but he was hired for $20,000. He was paid $20,000. Apparently, they initially wanted Christopher Lee to play Dr. Loomis, who is Sauron in Lord of the Rings, I think you would know, or Count Dooku from Star Wars.
Yeah.
He wanted Christopher Lee, but he denied. He turned it down, and he says it's one of the biggest regrets of his career.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. Huge. And then Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers, was paid $25 per day he was on set. So if he was on set for every day, that's not a lot of money.
No.
20 days, I don't know, it's 20 times 25. I don't know that math off the top of my head.
It's in the, like, I don't know. Do it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm trying to mental math it, and I'm not good.
If he was on set for every day, that's $500. But I guarantee you he wasn't. No. Because most of the shots are either him behind bushes, him in a car. He's only really in that last section, like that last 30 minutes.
Where he's prominent enough. Yeah, it's that last little bit.
Yeah. He probably was only paid at most like $100. Like, I doubt he was paid anything more than that.
All right, listen. Maybe I know inflation exists, but if I was the main villain for that movie and I was paid $100 after everything, I don't know. I get it. The budget was small.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not something you can do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So when John Carpenter wrote this, similar like how we talked about in our first week doing this when we talked about The Exorcist, how it's loosely based off a real haunting or a real exorcism. John Carpenter based this off a experience he had in college when he was touring a psychiatric hospital.
Oh,
so he saw a child who he met with, and the child looked at him, he said, in quotes, "with a look of evil, and it terrified me."
Did it say like what college specifically?
No, I didn't read that. Okay. I didn't see that, but I think it's interesting where he pulled his ideas from, and I wonder if this child even knows. That this movie is very loosely based on this idea.
I wonder, because this was before 78 that he came up with the idea.
Yeah, I think. Well, he said he wrote it. The screenplay was written in 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, also crazy.
Holy crap.
I said when I thought the same thing, but then I kind of sat and actually thought about it more. There's not much happening in this movie.
No, it's just a lot of like.
It's a lot of teens being teens.
Teens being teens. Detectives trying to figure out what's going on. It's literally like first little bit is you see Michael's first kill, and then you see kind of the detectives trying to be like, okay, well, what do we do now? Then it's teens being teens, detectives trying to figure it out, and then the actual kill spree.
But speaking about the writing, the actual writing for the teenage girls was done by Deborah Hill because they wanted a female perspective on how the girls would talk.
Oh, perfect.
And then Carpenter wrote all of the he was more focused on the doctor's dialogue.
That makes sense.
Dr. Loomis's dialogue.
Yeah, that works.
Which I think all the dialogue is really good for as for as little as there is.
For what it is.
It was the 70s. There's not much to it. It's actually sort of bland. I don't think it's bad though. It does what it needs to do. It pushes the plot along. But I think the dialogue, and I'm not trying to say anything negative against Deborah Hill.
Yeah.
But I think the dialogue is best when it is a Dr. Loomis talking. I think he has a lot of great big speeches.
Yeah.
Like when he's talking to the sheriff in Michael Myers' old house, and he's talking about how he saw evil behind those eyes and everything.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good speech. But I think that is one. He was a big actor during the time, so he was the most experienced. This was Jamie Lee Curtis' first film. I'm sure this was a lot of the other people's first films.
Yeah.
He's the most experienced, so of course he's probably going to sound the best and do the best delivery, and they want to give him the best parts. But I don't think anybody else did terrible. I just think he shined above everybody else.
Yeah. That's a fair judgment.
Yeah. Even if you don't like this movie, you can't deny that it is not iconic.
Oh, 100%.
Everything about this screams iconic. The cast, the characters, the music, the title. Even that opening, like even before the first person opening, that just long shot of the black with the pumpkin and you're slowly zooming in. Something I didn't realize, apparently the nose and the eye, when it zooms in all the way, is supposed to look like Michael Myers holding a knife.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a line in between the... I didn't realize that until after.
I noticed the line.
Yeah.
And I just thought they messed up the pumpkin.
It looks phenomenal. I think that's another thing. It does visually look very impressive.
With the budget that they had, they did very well for coming up with something that is not only like has great replay value and great just like aging, but it's just it's so iconic.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but I mean, I didn't hate watching it.
No, it has a lot of great things in it, but I don't know. I don't have much left to say about this.
Do you have
movie.
any other like facts or little tidbits about the movie?
Oh, The Mask. I don't think you knew this. I meant to tell you about The Mask. So The Mask it's iconic again. Another thing that's iconic. The white mask with like the sort of browny oranges hair.
Like yeah.
It's actually a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek. Oh. It's a Star Trek mask. William Shatner, who plays Captain Kirk, it's his face that they've altered. They removed the eyebrows and the sideburns.
Okay.
They painted it white and reshaped the eyes with scissors. Huh. So it is just a Captain Kirk mask. When William Shatner was asked about this, he didn't believe it at first. He was kind of like struck by it. He was like, "What do you mean that's me? That's not me." He thinks it's funny now. He hadn't seen Halloween when it first came out.
Oh wow!
So years later, obviously he has now.
Yeah.
But he just thought it was kind of funny. I think that's something that's great about it. There's a lot of love put behind this film.
Yeah.
Because whether or not it is everybody's first movie, you could tell who was making it. They were hungry to get good work, to do something great, to leave an impact.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, their names will be echoed throughout time because of this movie.
And the fact that he got so many people, like, their first, like, big movie.
Yeah.
Like, he just gave them the chance. Like,
yeah.
The actors got their chance. John was hungry for that sort of goal and what he had in mind, and he got that.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
I don't know. Michael's got a bit of a sense of humor. To be fair to him, after he kills Bob, he has
some personality.
He has some personality. After he kills Bob, he comes in a white sheet and Bob's glasses on, to like trick Linda, I guess.
Yeah,
and then kills her. But like the fact that he did this whole thing where he put on a sheet, got Bob's glasses.
I want to see that footage.
I do want to see that footage. I want to see the footage afterwards because Jamie Lee Curtis comes into the house.
Yeah,
that is across the street where Annie, who we haven't even mentioned yet. Annie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Who's her friend, Linda and Bob, who are other friends.
Yeah.
He goes in the house across the street. She sees Linda on the bed, dead with Michael's sister's actual tombstone on the bed.
Yeah.
That he steals earlier in the movie. She gets scared. She like runs into a wall. Then Bob swings from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, because he's hung. So
he wasn't there at all.
No,
he was downstairs in the kitchen.
Which means that Michael hung him in another
Michael
place.
Picked him up, hung him up, made sure that he would swing down perfectly, so that people could see him. I don't. And then he's a funny guy.
And then she opens a cabinet and
and Linda's Annie was the one on the bed. You're right. Linda's the one in the closet.
Yeah, that's right.
This movie, for what it is iconic. I think that is the best word to describe it. It's just iconic. It is one of, if not the most iconic horror movie probably of all time.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Well, I think that's all we've got.
Make sure, I would say, my recommendation for somebody who doesn't watch movies often, watch it with friends.
Yeah.
It's very fun with friends.
Yeah, it's super fun with friends. Watch with family even.
Have fun on Halloween.
Have fun on your Halloween. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe, of course.
Make sure you're with friends who can watch you if you are doing something terrible.
And if not friends, then hey, even family sometimes.
Stick with your family, or you don't have to do anything. Yeah. Stay in and watch horror movies. Watch Halloween. Watch the horror movies we talk about.
Couldn't say
you
it
have a good
myself.
set of 4 horror movies you could watch and talk about. Exorcist, Critters, Saw, and Halloween.
Yeah.
It's an odd 4, but it's fun.
Maybe don't watch them straight.
No, watch them straight.
Okay.
I recommend it. Watch them straight. But I think that's all from us.
Yeah.
Enjoy your Halloween, everybody.
Yeah.
Next up.
Thank you for movie talks.
Yeah, thank you for movie talks. We can give a hint to what we're doing next week.
Ooh.
There's something out there. Something underneath that sand.
I think this may be the Book of the Dead.
So that's your hint.
Yeah.
For the next 3 weeks.
Take your guesses.
Take your guesses, and then after those 3 weeks, we got some special plans.
We got some special plans
for us too. So hope you enjoy. Hope you keep listening.
Yeah.